I just need to make sure we're on. Put that on your lapel. That's for the YouTube stuff.
What do I do with this?
Yeah.
Just put it right up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their regular season finale is tomorrow afternoon at noon at Utah Valley on ESPN+. Southern Utah women's basketball has their home opener tomorrow afternoon inside the AFEC at 2 p.m. as they take on Idaho. Southern Utah men's basketball is also at home tomorrow night at 6:30 as they host the University of Nebraska at Omaha inside the AFEC. Southern Utah football is on the road tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. at Central Arkansas. You can catch that game on ESPN+. This has been your Thunder 91 Sports. I'm Dallin Richards. Go Thunderbirds.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's main event. Where's the Friday?
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious...
On this blessed Friday, let us give thanks.
So, another Friday is upon us.
WTF, where's the Friday? I'm Rob Birdsey. Thanks for joining us here. This is my last interview for today, so I hope you had a happy Friday. I've had some good ones in. You can see us on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and search Widowed, Trio, and Freedom, that's Widowed. I'm a widowed father. Trio, I have 2 little boys. Freedom, I hope that this works because one day I could possibly do other things and incorporate more powerful people and bring this in and learn more bios about everybody. I try to do this so people get the message of we can do hard things, and I think already I've got a bank. It's in excess of 60 videos up there now, and they all have a different message. So please check that out. Like, share, and subscribe, and all that jazz. If you choose to support us, I appreciate it. Me and my little boys really would enjoy that. This next interview I'm really pumped about. I've been looking forward to this for about a month now. Craig Lewis is in here with me. He does the advising here, but this guy, you're bulletproof in so many ways. I'm really impressed with the things that you do.
Well, I appreciate that.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks. It's fun to be here.
Yeah. So you just got through with advising a whole bunch of people, getting them into the programs that they need to be in. How'd that all end up for you?
You know, it was good. We had a lot of students come in. We had a lot of appointments. I mean, for one of our advisors, I'm going to call them out. They met with 33 students in one day.
Wow.
So they
awesome.
hit it hard. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good outfit you guys got up there. You know, you've helped me out a bunch. I mean, you and I built up a relationship out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because I had no idea. I'm just going through the process and working it out. And that's so what you did there. What's that, like 2 weeks of mayhem, right?
Pretty much. It actually ends up being closer to 3 weeks or a month of just chaos. I mean, just busy. And now we're kind of in the aftermath, a little bit of the flow down, trying to catch those stragglers that haven't registered yet.
I think that's good. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Circleville, if you know where that's at. Circleville is a small town. If you know where Beaver is, it's right over the mountain from Beaver.
Oh, okay.
There's only about 500 people there.
Wow, a little tiny place.
Yep.
And that says a lot because Beaver's a tiny place.
Yeah. Beaver's one of the big cities.
There you go.
To where I grew up.
Wow. And I grew up in Sydney, Western Sydney of all places, so millions of people.
Yep.
That's interesting. That's a good fishing life up there, right? Fishing, hunting.
Yep. Anything like
doing
that.
all the
Riding
good stuff.
4-wheelers all over the place.
Oh,
yeah, it
love
was
it.
a blast.
Yeah, no, that's a good. They're good times. What was it like with growing up? Did you live there your whole life? Have you moved around or anything?
Yeah,
or?
so I lived there. All growing up. I was born there, went to high school there. It was really good in high school because we were able to do just about anything we wanted. We were able to participate in sports, be in clubs, take advantage of anything like that. So, I wrestled, I played baseball, I did track and field, but at the same time I was also doing drama and debate and stuff like that. So
Yeah, you're well rounded.
it was fun.
Yeah. No, I remember meeting you when I first walked through here. Actually, you're the first person I talked to, eh?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting, and I was really shooting from the hip. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing here, but I knew what I kind of wanted to do, and since then we've definitely curved that around here and there, and I think we got into a good situation.
Right.
I mean, I'm doing good work, and it's led to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is doing great. You know, it's definitely it's not taken off, but I don't want it to take off crazy because I'm learning as I go, and I think it's the right type of trend. But coming through here, you talk extremely well. You're very well grounded. I've seen you talk to many people at a time. You know what I mean? You compose yourself extremely well. You have compassion. It's just you're a really well balanced person. What did you graduate in?
So I graduated in outdoor recreation.
Okay.
My original plan was to go into law enforcement and be a park ranger. I came across that when I was in my first or second year of college. I started working for one of my best friend's dads. He was a park ranger, and I realized this is awesome. This is a fantastic path. So I transitioned. I came to SUU as a chemistry education major, and that's when I found the outdoor rec major. So I changed from that, went to outdoor rec, and graduated there. I worked for the Forest Service for about 4 years, and then I completely messed my back up. And so that's what hindered that path. And so I started that whole career decision-making process. You talk about shooting at the hip, that's what I was doing. So I knew that plan A wasn't going to work, so I had to find what I like to call parallel paths instead of the alternate paths. So I found a different route to go and move forward. And, admittedly, the first job that I came across I didn't love, but it led me to this, which has been fantastic.
Yeah, it's funny how sometimes you can do some horrible things. It's like, oh man, this sucks.
Yeah.
But there's a glimmer of light at the end of that tunnel, and it usually puts you somewhere, even if it's just hey, you don't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you know you don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I say to anyone, don't discredit anything really. Just go down there until you work out it's not you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's a good thing. So you graduated. Going into what you've now achieved, is there anything you'd change?
I don't think so, to be honest.
No?
All of the meaningful relationships that I built during those times, they're still there.
Okay.
And so those key friends that I made during college and outdoor rec, they're still part of my life. In fact, I was texting with one of my buddies last night that I graduated with. He's actually a park ranger now, doing really good work. Another one of my buddies is a park ranger. He and I communicate all the time and he's helped me out during some rough times, and so those relationships are still there.
They make a difference.
Yeah, even though that career's not there, it's still a part of my life. One of the things that I have really been blessed to figure out here is we do have two sides of life, and sometimes those interests do great within our career, but maybe we need to use them outside of our life to have that balanced life. So maybe we're not working in the exact career that we wanted, but we can still recreate and do all the fun that we want.
Yeah, I mean, you can always, for what you've done and what you do here, you can always pivot too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can go 5 ways of Sunday.
Yeah.
Just for the simple fact of who you are as a person. You know, I mean, you've carved out a great path here. I kind of see you up there as a bit of an anchor. You know what I mean? Like you're extremely grounded in what you do. You know your stuff extremely well, like the best I've ever come across.
Yeah.
It's less for me. It's definitely less frustrating when I just go and see you.
Yeah.
Because I know you'll have the answer, and I have to look it up, and I'll send you an email. Never get an email, or it just takes long. Whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Craig.
Well, and there's a ton of really, really good advisors that we have. That do fantastic work as well, and so I would strongly encourage students
Yeah.
to take advantage of that because they're a huge resource.
I think my advice to people to go up there would be to understand what you want. That's kind of sometimes kind of really hard to do, but at least if you have an idea of where you want to get to, you know what I mean. If you come in with that and hold steadfast, you know what I mean, and make these guys accountable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it to an extent, you know what I mean. Like it's just you have a goal, you're trying to achieve it, right?
Oh, it is so much easier to work if we have that goal.
Yeah. Oh no, it's like finding my path for you, especially once I don't think that's the right one. We tried a couple of things, but it was great. It worked out, I think, very, very well.
Yeah.
So you grew up there, Circleville, right?
Circleville.
Circleville.
Yep. Round town, if you want to call it.
Round
that.
town. There you go.
Yep.
Coming through life like that, I mean, that sounds pretty wholesome to me. Is it like mum and dad still all there? Everything's great.
Yeah. So my dad actually passed away in 2007. So he's
Okay.
been gone quite a while.
Yeah.
He had cancer, and so he fought cancer from 2005 to 2007.
Wow.
So I mean that was hard to watch. He went from being complete. I mean he was a mechanic. He went from being active and healthy to you know diminished in the time of a year. And so that was really hard to watch. And then about 6 months, actually it was 6 months to the day that my dad died, my mom found out that she had cancer. So then we had to start that whole process over again.
Ouch.
She did really well with it. She's still doing fantastic. So I mean it was rough for a second there.
Yeah. No, it's such an odd situation to watch. A healthy, strong, awesome person dwindle into nothing.
Yep.
You know, like the last stage of my wife's life, it was like almost 2 months of not eating, hospice,
Yep.
bed. In the end, like no joke, the night before she passed away, I sat down beside her and I said, "Babe, you got to go.
Yeah.
This is done. You know, I got the boys. I'll make sure I'll work this out. I might not be in a good headspace at the time, but I did. You know, I didn't think anyone heard me either. But her mother reached out to me a couple of days after that, and she goes, "I heard what you said, and I know she listened to you."
Yeah.
And then like 2 o'clock that morning, she passed. You know, so it's hard, and they just want to hold on.
Yeah.
Ugh, you know.
Yep.
Kind of tricky situations, but you so that growing up there, I want to touch on. So you said you had back issues. You had something going. What happened there?
My junior year of high school, I got in a car wreck, and
wow.
that triggered everything. So the next year in wrestling season, I popped it out, and it's just been perpetual since then.
Really?
So I mean, even to today, I had back surgery in 2012. And even to today, I still have a few issues that pop up and hinder a few things here or there.
Yeah.
But I mean, working in this career, it's fine. I can still get out and recreate and do the fun things.
Yeah.
But just have to be more.
Yeah, you got a big family too, huh?
Well, yeah. So I've got 3 kids. I've got twin boys that are 7, and then I've got a little girl that's 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. That's fun, huh?
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah, especially 3-year-olds is like your best friends. They're
Oh,
just
yeah.
hanging about, having a good time. Especially being a little girl. My goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun to have a little girl, I think. Having the car. What was the nature of the car injury? What happened there?
So I was, I just came to an intersection and there was a tree that blocked my view
Oh wow.
and the other car's view. And so they came through, hit me right behind the driver's side door, spun me around, and luckily we didn't flip. I and my passenger, we did not have seat belts on.
Ouch.
So we were fairly lucky. The other car was a pretty small car, and there were 7 passengers in there. None of them had seatbelts on either.
Oh no.
The only thing that really happened that day was somebody got a small cut. So it was really lucky that nobody died.
Yeah.
Their car was completely totaled. the truck that I was in had a dent in the back, and we drove it home. But
Always the way.
yeah,
These trucks over here are huge,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, they're pretty protective. That'll do it.
Yeah.
And what did it mess up on your back?
lower back, L3,
Yeah.
L4.
Yeah. Have you ever looked into like the PRP or that's a platelet-rich plasma?
I've talked to a few doctors about it.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't seem to fit with me.
Yeah.
So I had a microdiscectomy in 2012 where they just kind of snipped things off and relieved pressure, and it was fantastic. I went in, I couldn't walk, and after the surgery, I walked out that day. So it made a huge difference.
You couldn't walk going in.
Yeah, I hobbled. So
Oh, okay.
on
Right.
campus, I lived 7 houses away when I was going to school anyway. I lived 7 houses away from campus, and it took me 45 minutes to get here. That's how long it took me to walk after when I
That's
messed my back
crazy.
up.
That's crazy.
So the surgery, it released, put everything right back in.
Yeah.
Was able to walk out. It was good.
Wow. I did the PRP on my neck,
Yeah.
and man, did 3 treatments. And the first treatment, it was click. I can't. And it was a car accident.
Yeah.
To like a month later, and I'm like, okay, I can move, but I'm still getting pain. And to now, it's just a very minute, dull roar in the background. You know what I mean? And that was 3 treatments. You know, I mean, the worst thing about that whole situation is that the insurance doesn't cover it.
Yeah.
It's your own. All they do is they take your blood, they put it in a machine, they spin it around, get all the plasma out of it, and they re-inject it back into your parts.
Yeah.
So, and they did that to my elbow. I had tennis elbow out of it. And my elbow's good. Like
Yeah.
I get it every now and then, a little, massage done. But it's nothing like where it was before. I could barely grab things and do stuff like that.
Yep.
And that's plasma. That's the PRP. The stem cells is a whole new ball game.
Yeah.
And that's huge now. Like
It
that's
is.
taking off. I know that the hospital here, the Southwest Spine Pain Recovery or whatever it is, they do it. They do cash,
Okay.
and you can go there with $700. They'll sort you out in one day.
That's with the plasma.
That's the plasma. And if you ever have any issues, I would highly suggest try it. Especially if you have the funds to do so, I would.
Yeah.
Those doctors are bulletproof over there. They're good guys, you know.
Yeah. They're actually the ones that did my back surgery.
Oh, yeah, there you go. So yeah. Did they not talk about the PRP?
No, that
Probably
was,
wasn't-
like I said, that was
probably-
2012.
yeah, that's something new, yeah.
So that was quite a while ago.
Well, now it's like I sat there and chat with him, and he might even come on here to talk about it. But he's like, I can't believe the response we're getting out of it, and it's your own blood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which totally makes sense. You know, which
Yeah.
is huge.
Give your body some time to heal and let your
Yeah.
body do what it's supposed to do in it.
Yeah, they say to me like 6 weeks. 6 weeks. After 4 weeks, you could kind of go. I mean, they say do yoga. You're good to go do yoga and that, which I have been doing, trying to get the mobility back.
Yeah.
But they 6 weeks, don't do heavy weightlifting or anything like that. So I take a period out, and then I went back in. But man, I'm back to lifting. I'm kettlebells and all that sort of jazz.
Nice.
I'm just taking my time with it though. I'm not just ripping up, going crazy, but I'm doing it, which I can't believe that. I mean, I've been here 45 years on this earth, and I've it just kind of blown my mind a little bit that treatment's that simple now.
Yeah.
You know, like your body can heal itself with just more of a condensed situation. You know, for the plasma, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm yet to, when I have money, I want to try the stem cells. I think that'll be cool. There's a good place in Austin, Texas that does it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those guys they have a whole gamut of they do pharmaceuticals and everything, but it's all natural, or the best things for you. You know, if it's not forward thinking, we don't want to push nothing onto you, but this will work in this way. How? You know what I mean? Or you can go, if you really need the condensed stuff, it's you can go down south. You know what I mean? And pay the $3,000 or whatever. I think it's Panama. They do those things. They do like a whole kit and caboodle treatment where you show up and you'll be there for a number of days because it has to germinate and things like that. But they do that, but it's over. They do a package over a week, in accommodation included, everything. You fly down there and yeah, they go nuts with it. But they do the things that they can't do here.
Right.
Yeah, but here now they're on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and the benefit is you get a trip to Panama, right?
Panama, I would I would love to do that cruise.
Right.
I want to see that canal. I think that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, that would be way fun.
Yeah, that place is drying out. You hear that?
No, I haven't.
They just rebuilt Mexico's train because before Panama came in, Mexico had a train line going across,
Okay.
and they had docks each side, and that's what the main thing was. And then they went down there. America went down to Panama, and they built the locks. So 2 times they achieved that. The first time everyone got malaria and died. So the second time they went down with more skilled people, and then they built the locks, and that's how that went. But now the way how the world's drying up and getting wet in other places, Panama is drying up. Like the freshwater lake that's on top that you go through, that's drying up, and now they've limited to so many boats going through at a time, or ships, I should say. And they just rebuilt the locks again. So it's crazy. They built all this infrastructure, and now they can't do it because
That's crazy.
it's one-way water, right? It just runs out. So even for the big cargo ships, if they've got to rush through real fast, they're charging a huge amount of money to get through it.
Oh.
Yeah, but now Mexico has, I think they should be finished either this year, I think it's next year. The train line's rebuilt. So now Mexico's after it. We want the cruise ships coming back through and everything else. Where Panama would be more of a leisurely stroll through versus I think that corridor that Mexico's just kicked off with, that's going to be the main freight lines coming through from going one ocean to the other.
Cool.
Yeah, just fun facts, right?
Yeah, there you go.
So how did you get through? How much did the back stuff put you out? Like, did you find
So,
cripple you a bit there?
I mean, I was down. What happened eventually, I was playing volleyball one night and I felt it pop out. And that left me for about 7 weeks that I just really couldn't walk. I laid on the ground most of the time. I was a nuisance to my roommates, you know. And then I just, through conversations with a few friends, they said, you know, you probably better get to the doctor. They had very similar issues, and so that got me going. Went to the doctor, and about 2 days later, they had me into another doctor, and we're doing surgery the next week. So it was a very quick process once that happened.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I was out and working and doing good.
Oh wow.
So.
And you're a bit of a sports fan. I see you used to wrestle.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, and you did that for quite a long time too, right?
So I did that for about 5 years in high school. Played baseball growing up. I was not very good at baseball, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a fun
I will
game.
say that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I enjoy watching sports. I enjoy getting involved with them and seeing what's going on.
No, that's cool. To get active, I think it's I think it's so important for kids to do that at a younger age, to understand team sports / even doing stuff like wrestling on your own. You know, it's good to learn how the body creates things, and you go through all that process. How do you think that? What do you think has formed your life going through? Yeah, I mean, looking from a young age, obviously mum and dad's always been there, so that's a good thing. And then, sorry to hear your dad go on that. That's horrible. Your mum's still here. That's a good thing.
She is, yeah.
Shout out to mum. What do you think? Like, how you look back at your life? What do you think of pivotal points were?
Oh, some of the pivotal points. Honestly, I think wrestling changed me quite a bit. I mean, I've always been a bigger guy. When I was in 7th grade, so our high school was really small. We went grades 7 through 12, and so between 7 and through 12, there were only 190 something students in there. So when I entered in 7th grade, I was bigger than most of the seniors. I stood 6'2". I weighed about 220, 230.
Yeah.
So.
Are you still 6'2"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I lost a half inch after my surgery, but
sure.
Yeah,
Man,
so
I always dreamt about I want to be 6'2", 6'2". I'm still trying.
Yeah. So, I mean, wrestling, when I started that, it formed me. I was bullied in middle school and in elementary school. I had people make fun of my weight because I was so big. But once I started wrestling, that's when I realized, I am who I am, and I don't care what people think.
Done.
It gave me that confidence, and that was very pivotal. That helped me understand that I can be my own person. I can be quirky. I can be who I am and just move forward.
That wins like that are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched my boys, especially my eldest one, doing the. And I know I probably told you this before. I told everyone this before, but I'll say it again. It's his mum dies a year later. He's still fighting with everything. I put him into therapy. Therapy ain't doing it. You know what I mean? It's too woke. To be honest with you, it's too woke, and it's just like, what am I going to do? Have a yelling and screaming match with this kid every night, or do I need to do something about it? The best thing I ever did was put him in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
For the first 3 months, man, I promise you, every lesson they'd come out, and actually I didn't even do. They would roll Mondays and Wednesdays, and Fridays they would roll. Like, so they would learn Mondays and Wednesdays. Friday they would put it together. I even stopped doing the Fridays because he hated it that much. Every day we'd leave there crying, I don't want to go back, I don't want to go back. So mate, you got to learn it. Once you understand this and you can take that forward, you'll walk with gusto. Trust me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now he's coming on to his 3rd year in jiu-jitsu, and he's slaying it. And now we're at MGA, and they work 4 days a week, so Monday through Thursday. And they alternate from mixed grappling arts to jiu-jitsu, grappling arts, jiu-jitsu. And at the end of every lesson, they have 20 minutes of just rolling, and he lives for it. We were just talking about Lyle Santos. He met Lyle down in the football field after one of the games they won, and Lyle said, "Hey, I hear you play, I hear you do jiu-jitsu," and he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Show me some of your moves." He climbed up him,
That's funny.
Yeah, I know. It's good, but but he's so level-headed now. He's so calm. You know what I mean? It's from where he was. I was really worried, man, because
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what to do with this kid. He's and rightly so. He was fighting it. He didn't leave his mother's side. You know what I mean? And from that point, once she passed away, it was just like, who am I? I'm no lover like Mum was, I mean, I love him. I show as much love as I can, but I'm not that good. She was amazing.
Yep.
It makes a big difference to have that. I was bullied as a kid going through school until I got to boxing.
Yeah.
And I'm not a heavy hitter like Tyson. Go Tyson! I hope he wins tonight. But once I learnt that I was super quick, I was super lightweight, and I could move. That gives you a different power. And
Yeah.
someone says something to you, you just look at them and you say, "You really want to do that, man? Do we really need to go down that path?" And that's when they start looking. You're like, "Oh, you're stepping up to me,"
Yeah, and for me, I mean, I never had to really stand up to anyone after I got that confidence. There were a few people that tried to pick things, and I knew who I was, so I was like, it's not worth it.
No.
I'll just kind of step back and call it good, and just left it at that.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, as it is, man, you're a big dude. I mean, like you bring a presence to you, and the energy around you too.
Yeah.
I could imagine what that. I mean, I've only experienced the lighter side of you, thank goodness.
Right.
I mean, but it's good. You're a great person. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think that's something to be said about people. I love how when I see people, especially people that are formed like you and I, you're not dragging. You're not.
Yeah.
I mean, this is life, and this is good. We're here.
Right.
You know the value of it.
Yep.
You're not just flogging a dead horse going to work. I feel sorry for guys like that, and my advice to you is go get a different job.
Well, and honestly, that's what kind of happened towards the end of my last job. I loved my coworkers. There were a few of them that were really, really good to work with, but just the career itself was very draining on me, and so getting into work was very, very difficult.
What was that doing?
That was juvenile probation. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, I worked for the courts, and it was just heavy.
Ouch.
You know.
Yeah, that's I love that you touched on that actually. Sam Johnston that was down there. She does the basketball, women's basketball.
Yeah.
So I had her in here, and she's talking about becoming a prosecutor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's cool. And I may have come across the wrong way, but man, if you're surrounded by that all day, every day, that would do my soul a discredit. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
And so I take my hat off to people like that can.
And my brother-in-law, he still works there, and like I said, I loved my coworkers. One of them was my brother-in-law. It was fantastic. We built a really strong relationship while we were there. for him, it works great. He enjoys the job. It fits his personality.
Yeah.
He's able to do the things that he needs to do. But for me, it just wasn't there.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Yeah.
That's totally fair. But I think you're well placed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where you are now, it's fun to see. Just see, even when you do talks and things like that, mate. You know, I took one of your classes. It's good then too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you very much know who you are and what you're about and how you can help.
Right.
That says a lot. You know,
Yeah.
and a lot of people need that, especially in those roles there. How long have you been doing that for?
I've been here for almost 6 years. It'll be 6 years December 1st.
Wow, you definitely got a good rhythm up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took a hot second to figure it out
Yeah.
because there's a lot of information, but it's
Yeah.
been good.
Yeah, feel free to ask any questions too if you're curious.
Yeah.
There's a two-way street here too, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So did you ever move around? You never really did, eh?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
So I served an LDS mission. I lived in the Czech Republic for a couple of years. So,
Wow.
Yeah, I lived there, and I love it over there. I absolutely love Europe. I got to go back a couple years ago on a study abroad, and I texted my wife and I said, I'd move over here if you want to. She's not all about that. We'll be here. But yeah, I love Europe. I love traveling, love cultures.
Food's good, isn't
Yeah,
it?
love the food.
Yeah.
So when we went back in 23, went to Germany, that was the best food I've ever had in my life. It was fantastic. So,
Yeah, good food. Yes, yeah, I enjoy that. I like traveling too. I would love to take this traveling. I mean, I probably already talked a bit to you about that. Yeah, I would love to go just see influential people everywhere around the world and see what I can, make a show out of it or something. That would be pretty fun.
yeah. I was just talking to John Belk a couple minutes ago. Do you know John Belk?
I don't.
He's one of the English professors.
Oh, okay.
So he's promoting a study abroad just right over here right now. They're going to Sicily right after the semester, or right after spring semester ends. So if you're looking for an English study abroad, go hit John Belk up. But yeah, our conversation was, one of my dream study abroads would be small town. Let's stay out of the big cities. Let's
Yeah.
not go to Sicily, but let's go hit these little villages and let's see what the life is like
Really
in those
like.
really small areas. See what the small town cultures are like.
Yeah.
And that's probably part of the growing up in Circleville and knowing that that's really what my life was like.
Yeah.
I'd like to see what those lives are like.
What's the population in Circleville?
About 500.
Wow.
Yeah.
500.
More cows than people.
More cows than people.
Yep.
That's
So-
funny. How did the study abroad work? Like, if someone wants to do that, what do they? Do they have to bring a bunch of money to be involved in that, or is there subsidies for it? Or?
So it depends on the programs. Some of them do have some scholarships. They typically run around 2,000 to 3,500. You can get some credit out of it. So it just kind of depends on which study abroad it is. Yeah, the English department's doing one to Sicily. I know psychology's doing one to Spain, Paris, and London. Interdisciplinary's doing one to Spain as well. So there's a lot that's going to Europe. And
Fun.
those are the ones that I'm most familiar with, where they're in the humanities college. But I know that other departments are doing them as well.
Great.
So
No, it's a good
yeah,
deal.
study abroad's awesome.
I mean, I don't know if I can do it as far as like my scenario
Yeah.
because of the kids and all that, but man, it sounds fun. If I had a bunch of money, I would take the kids with me and go.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that would be tons of fun.
There's a huge advantage to seeing what other people live like.
Yeah.
You know? So when I went back in 23, back to the Czech Republic, and then we went to Austria, Germany, France, and then ended in London. It was humbling, but also refreshing to see just how little people have. You know, they can get by with just the bare minimum. You don't
Yep.
have to have all of the stuff that you fill up everything.
Yep.
It's really nice to just get back to the basics, build those relationships with people, and
Yeah.
create the meaningful friendships.
Most people don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Or they're learning it the hard way right now because it's pretty tight out there to live.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know my circumstance. I live in an RV, man.
Yeah.
It's a decent size RV. It's got everything that we need. You know what I mean? But it just really showed me how much I don't need everything and how much I really miss everything too.
Right. I mean, look at I have multiple friends that are transitioning to living on the road, living in RVs,
Yep.
taking their schools out of, or their kids out of traditional schools and doing more
Yeah.
homeschooling, but working on the road and going on adventures because that's what they want to do.
Yeah, it makes sense. Life is so small, man. To the days of yabba dabba do, go work like Fred Flintstone did and Barney Rubble, that sucks. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean? That's an old school mentality. I don't think it's going to be like that in the future, especially once AI and everything really kicks in.
Yeah.
I don't see it really working the way how it has done. So I don't know how the big companies are going to make their money. So good luck.
Right.
Yeah, because it's our turn now.
Yep.
Yeah, I really hope that works out.
Yep.
See how that goes.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to touch on?
I mean,
Or is there anything in your life that we've missed that's probably pretty significant that we should talk about? Because that's what I'm all about, you know what I mean? Like, I want to let people know how we get through hard times and hard things.
yeah, I mean, some of the hardest things we've kind of talked about. You know, we get into these, you know, losing family members, losing parents. I mean, it took me quite a while to, I mean, Utah standards, it took me quite a while to find my wife. And so, I mean, I was quite a bit older when I got married, again, Utah standards. And so when you look around at all of your friends and all of your classmates that are ended up in heavy relationships and getting married and starting kids and all of that, it can get a little hard, you know?
Dude, and most of them split up anyway.
Yeah, you know,
Some survive.
Yeah, some survive.
Some survive.
So, for instance, my buddy that I was talking to last night, that's a park ranger, his kids are juniors, and he and I are basically the same age. And I'm sitting here with 7-year-olds. So our life path right now
Yeah.
are on very different trajectories.
What's your age?
I'm 41.
Okay, so we're similar. Well, we're similar too because my kids are young as well. You've met them.
Yeah. So the biggest thing that I think is we're living our lives. You know, I hear this from students a lot. I want to get done on time. I want to graduate on time.
Yeah, what's time?
And what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, what is graduating on time? If student A gets done when they're 21, but student B gets done when they're 30, they're still getting done. They're still reaching their goal. They're still hitting things. Maybe it takes a little bit longer. Maybe we have to figure out what we're doing. You know, there were a lot of life lessons that I learned as I progressed through, you know, 4 years after graduating, or I guess it was 2 years after I graduated college before I got married. You know, I remember one instance where there was an individual that I had just met said to me, "So what are you up to?" And I said, "Well, I work for the Forest Service. I graduate college next year." And he said, "Well, how old are you?" And I said, "I'm 27." And he said, "Well, you didn't take your sweet time, did you?" And I was like, oh, "Okay,
That's a bit rude.
I'm graduating. How is that diminishing anything? Like I'm accomplishing my goal."
Yeah.
I think we need to be a little bit more sensitive towards people and understand that there's things that happen in life.
Yeah, well, it's like we just had that conversation in the hall there with Chris. I just had in here. I can tell that he's not getting what he needs out of his schooling, and he's from South Korea, right? He's born in America in New Jersey. Went back when he was 5, you know, and all that jazz. But I said to him, even though I right now, I mean, the credits that I have, I'm sure I could probably squeeze out of this place in a year. You know what I mean? But it's not about that. You know, there's some things that I need to learn, you know, and that I know I want to learn. And I'm lucky to have that, to be honest with you. He's a similar situation where he wants to be a film editor, but he's just in communications. And I think there's got to be more involved in what he needs to learn. So I said to him, dude, it's not about A to B, it's about A to Z, and go everywhere in between while you're here, because you're only going to do this once.
You know, I just met with a student yesterday. They're an international student, and their degree has room for a whole bunch of electives.
Great.
So we could easily take and get credit for them for their foreign language.
Wow.
And so I mentioned that to him, and the student looked at me and said, "But then I'm not learning anything. I already know that foreign language. I would like to be able to take classes that are going to help me get forward."
I love that.
I was like, that is so
Cool.
so refreshing to hear that.
Yeah.
we think about the school motto, learning for the sake of learning, or learning lives forever. There's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah.
So I was really impressed with that. So that
No,
was
it's
kinda
good.
fun.
People should stand for what they really want.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes it's not a full degree or even a minor. Just go learn, go take the key course out of that one. You know, go check it out. As long as you can qualify for it, I'm sure. But there's many actually courses that you can go just to dabble in and just see. Maybe there's some fundamentals, you know, that you can pull out of it. Hence, like myself, like I know entrepreneur makes something in my life work because I know where I'm going to go with that. Communications, well, you know, here I am right now talking to you, so this is great, you know, and this is working. But not all the communications. There's a lot of communications parts I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? But I know there's a couple of books inside of me. You know what I mean? I would love to be able to understand the whole rotating gamut of the process of how to do. So it's like what you were saying, you know, do a minor in creative writing. You know, it's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yep.
You know, I think it's made a difference with that.
Well, and the other thing that I think goes along with that, if we go back to earlier in this, we were talking about how there's a recreation side that helps me feel fulfilled, but there's also my work side that we kind of have to have that balance. Sometimes we get so focused on that work side that maybe what we really need in college is to take a drawing class because we really like drawing.
Yeah.
Even though our major may be biology, maybe we want to take something to help with our recreation, you know, with our hobbies.
Yeah,
It
that
doesn't hurt.
I call that chicken soup for the soul, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you need to fill your cup.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's just fun. I've been slightly eyeing the clay spinning wheels down there every time I walk past. I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to do something there. But I carve. I'm really good at carving.
Oh, cool.
You know, and I'm like big sculptures. You know.
Have you ever got into the chainsaw carving?
I did a little bit. One of my friends, actually, he's Navajo. He does some really wicked stuff with stumps, like real big stuff. And I kind of went, I whittle, but I also, on that, he and I did a couple of things together, and I thought that was pretty cool. Although he didn't have all the tools that I would like, but I've looked at that from other angles too. I've did a bit of stonemasonry stuff where, that's kind of tricky, you know.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it's so hard. And it's just so tedious and it's a thankless job. So it's like, you know, I left that. But it's good.
Yeah, that's way fun.
Yeah, I once carved, and vacuum formed the Joker's face. What's his name? Heath Ledger?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
That's
And it
awesome.
came out. So once we finished the carve, then we laid it down on a vacuum form and vacuum formed a plastic sheet over top of it. And then from behind, and it was big, like it was good 4 foot by maybe 3 feet wide, the whole head. And we made it so you could back to back it on a street light.
Oh, that's
And then,
funny.
so in the daytime, it just looked white. You know, I mean, you could sort of see there was a face, but in the nighttime when the light kicked on, from behind we painted all the colors into it. I mean, so I had all the detail built into that. So when that would come on, it was like, whoa, you could really see it.
That's way cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Done a lot of, what are the, like, goblins and things on the side of buildings. Yeah, I would do forms for that, but I would carve it all out so they could make a form around it.
How did you get into that?
Just doing a side thing in my first part of university at USU.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got into carving up there, and I just started, and it's just a side thing. Like I know I'm not going to make money out of it, but man, it's fun to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's a building in San Francisco where they I can't think of the name of you know, like the guys with the hood, they have the sword on the chest and they're draped down, and then they have the face.
Yeah.
Right. I can't think of the name of what it is, but I did one of those. It was 13 feet tall. But I carved a face in my one, but this particular building that inspired me from it, this artist, he built them all, and it was supposed to be like a really, really big, impressive building. And when he found out that they because it went through like in the 20s, they all ran out of money or whatever, and they made it a teeny tiny building. It was nothing. So he left the faces out of it. And it's still there now. If you go on a tour, you can see it, and that's what inspired me. I thought, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And then I got into that, and then I did some of those, the monster things, and that was cool.
That's way fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah.
But so now I'm looking at the pottery like, oh, I got to get in the ceramics class or something somewhere down the line,
Man, that's a popular class.
Yeah, I
There's
believe it.
So many students who want to take that.
What's his name that runs it? I don't know if he still runs it there now, but he's opening up a ceramics class around here. Wayland.
Is it Rankle?
Rankle.
Yeah.
Rankle.
Yeah.
I heard him. He did a speech the other day at the Entrepreneur
Yeah.
speaker series. Man, he's got an interesting story.
Yeah.
I mean, he bumbled and stumbled his way into being an entrepreneur, and now he's got his situation started. So they're going to do classes here. He's got another artist that's from, I think, somewhere on the East Coast coming out, and they're going to do some classes through the summertime together. But his artwork is crazy. Have you seen that?
I've seen a few of his.
He's got a rabbit, and it looks good with a glove hanging off it. So the gloves are made from rabbit skin, and basically the rabbit's still attached to the.
That's crazy.
It's nutty. It's like the inside's all red, but everything else is brown. He's got a goat head. The goat head one is crazy with the glove hanging off it, and
Yep.
yeah, and they're famous pieces too. Like they're going into collectors around the world.
So cool.
Yeah, no. So I don't know. I think it's that'll be fun to see what happens in that in this town.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty cool. I was just some of the work they do here is amazing too.
It is. Yeah, it's always fun to walk around the Centrum or the AFEC and just look at what they've done, what they've accomplished. The students here have a
That's
lot of
cool,
talent.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned you met your wife later on in life.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of same deal with me. How'd you guys meet?
I hate blind dates, and so I hate to admit that it was a blind date, but it was a blind date.
Oh wow.
So, yeah.
What was the scenario? Where were you guys at?
Just a mutual friend texted me and said, "Hey, I think you should go on a date with her," and that was it.
You were ever so lucky, my friend. She's a beautiful woman too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. That's awesome. Was it through college at the time, or?
Yeah, it was after I'd graduated college. And
Okay.
so they were roommates, and I just happened to know her roommate, and so she set
Lined
us
you
up,
up.
and
And that was it.
that was it. Yep.
Yeah, and they're the best moments.
Yep.
Yeah, my late wife, and I've always been cool with chicks. I can talk to women very easy. Never had any moments of not. You know what I mean? And I was friends with my late wife, really good friends. I really admired her work ethic and things like that. And I was married beforehand, and my wife at the time left me. And it was horrible. But I just, I sort of turn internal, right? I don't do much. I kind of lick my wounds my own way and shut the blinds. I'm at home. I went to school, came back, didn't do much. And I didn't see anyone for a period of months. And then one day I was coming out of the classroom that I just signed up for. The semester just started. And I came out of there, and her name's Annie, of course. So I walk out, I got my bag on my back. I've never freaked out ever in my life. And she walks around the corner and she's like, "Hey, Rob." And I'm like, "Hey." And she's like, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm single." And I ran. I've never done that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she said that was the hook that got her. She said that's where she knew that she wanted me.
That's funny.
I've never ever, I swear that there must have been an angel or something rigging it. You know what I mean? Because I've never freaked out.
Yep.
But man, we had such a good run, 10 years of awesomeness.
Yeah. See, and I was completely the opposite. I would tell people that my 3 worst fears were heights, snakes, and girls in no particular order. It depended on the situation.
Yeah.
And I would always tell people that the worst possible scenario for me would be to be at the top of Angel's Landing with a rattlesnake and a girl.
Oh man.
And that happened to me. So we hiked up, me and a friend hiked Observation Point, which is above Angel's Landing.
Yeah.
There was a rattlesnake right there, and she was a girl. It was horrible. It was my own personal
So
fear,
you literally
know?
you brought that to fruition.
After that, I was like, all right, if we survive this, we're good.
Yep, no, take that off the list. We've done that.
Yep.
That's awesome, dude.
So,
Great. Well, we come to the end of the show. So, you want to say anything else, or?
you know, I think the biggest thing that I would say is be comfortable with yourself. You know, it's okay. If we're a little different, that's fine. Get to know who you are.
Yeah.
And remember the timeline thing. It might take a little bit longer. Maybe we've got some side tricks that we've got to do. You know, if we talk video games or something like that, you've got the main course that you're looking for, but sometimes those side paths are the most fun.
Yeah, fantastic.
So don't be afraid to stray a little bit and figure out what you want to do.
The process of discovery can be a fun thing, or it can be absolutely mortifying.
Absolutely.
Just breathe. Just breathe and be who you are. I have a question for you, though,
Yeah.
and it could do with anything at all. What makes the difference?
What makes the difference? Say the question one more
Yeah,
time.
no. What makes the difference
In life,
in everything?
honestly, I think it's being you.
Yeah,
Figuring out who you are and being you
yeah.
and being okay with that.
And go test that. You got to test the principles of a man's character, of a woman's character. Go try this, try that. I hated this. I loved that.
Yep.
That's where it's. I love that. That's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Craig,
No
for
problem.
being here. Craig Lewis, everybody. That was amazing. We'll go with some Lady Gaga. Thank you, YouTube. I'll end that. Thanks, man. That was great.
no
eh?
problem. Thanks,
So
Rob.
easy, isn't it?
Yeah, that wasn't bad. So